Aztecs have already missed a field goal in this game. Made looking, end zone caught, touchdown Mark Redmond. A long time coming. Four-man pressure picked up, Laga, deep shot, and it's caught for the touchdown. Maiden, complete, Christian, and he's in. From the 28, Maiden, wide open, Penny, he's got it. Pick up the pressure, Laga taking a shot, Vaughn, right into the basket, and Utah State answers, showing some pressure. They bring it, breaks through, a touchdown for Utah State. Running back, Maiden to throw, in the face of heat, and it's intercepted. Ike Larson, and the Aggies come on the road and pull it out.
All right, Aztec Nation, please let me know if you can hear me. This is the Sons of Montezuma podcast. And as you are making your way into the live stream, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Guys, we are inching our way towards 1,000 subscribers. So we appreciate everybody who's joining in the live stream right now to make sure you hit those buttons. It is your host, Mateo San Diego. You can find me at Mateo San Diego on Twitter. Whew. This is going to be a long one, guys, but we got to do it. Of course, joining me, as always, are my two co-hosts. He's protecting our borders from sea to shining sea. Quite literally these days, it is K5 James. What's up, James?
What's up? It's good to be here, man.
Is it really good to be here? in this spot that we're in right now?
I got to lie for the three people watching, dude.
Oh, man, it's all good. We're going to make the most out of it because we got joining us back off of his week hiatus. We didn't have him in the last episode, so we're really happy to have this, this gentleman, this dirtiest of the Dans. It is Dirtball Dan. What's going on, Dan? What's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm fine, dude. I'm actually kind of tired, but yeah, we've been putting this off for a bit, you know. Usually record on Mondays. Now basketball's taking over, so we got kicked to the curb.
It's a whole nother animal when basketball season starts. So if we are reading everything correctly in the comments, Sarah Fembone, ooh, why am I here? Mr. Butler, I see you. Mr. Butler.
We feel her pain. We feel her pain.
And of course, Mr. Napolitano. Dan, what's going on, guys? What's going on? Thank you guys for joining the live stream. As we said, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It's a pleasure to have the guys with me again. You know, we've been there at the games. We've been there tailgating every single week or watching, you know, together our watch parties. And like Dan said, we kind of been putting this off a little bit. Me and James kind of tried to pick up the pieces after that Nevada loss. But, you know, we had a great time at the game this past Saturday. It was homecoming. We saw many of you guys there that are in the stream. We saw a lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces, and we just had a great time. And that's kind of been the focus of our season at this point, right, guys? Is like just make the best out of our time being in there at the new stadium and enjoy each other's company. But Dan, I'm gonna start with you. Man, because everybody knows who comes to the tailgates. They saw you, but you didn't actually make your way into the game, man. And I saw you tweet about it. So explain yourself.
Dude, it was weird. You know, I had a fun time at the tailgate. And just walking in, I just looked at my family like, dude, do you guys really want to go to watch this right now? Almost like I felt the doom coming. And honestly, it's even like my son, he's like, it's always so fun when we go, but then the Aztecs lose, like he's new to it. He doesn't know all the success in the past. He was pretty young when that happened. So it's, I don't know. I didn't, for some reason, I didn't have it in me to sit, and I'm so glad I didn't. That was one of the best decisions I made, was not going to that stupid game. And I went home and I watched it, but it's just so easy just to turn the channel when stuff's going bad. Where if I'm at the game, it hurts so much more. So dedicate a whole day. I got to relax at my house, turn the channel when they were playing crappy, and not go to the game. And then I made sure to tweet at JD, because I can't imagine a time ever doing that in my past. So I was thinking about it and like, what would make me do that? And I think it's just like the negativity within the program. I mean, how everything is running downhill right now, and I didn't even want to think about it or do anything about it. And it was a great decision.
Yeah, man, I don't blame you. First of all, the tailgate is undefeated. Like that's the best part of going to the games this year. But yeah, man, it was brutal watching it, being there, going through it. So I kind of, I was giving you crap after the game and recently, but I totally don't blame you. That it's the negativity is like permeating throughout the whole experience, man. And it's not a good feeling. It makes these way harder than they should be. This is supposed to be fun for us, but like as Matt was talking about, last week was brutal. This week's a little better because we have you. We can make fun of you in this situation. But I mean, damn, dude, it's rough. This is going to be a rough home stretch of the season here. Thank God for basketball to give us something fun to take out of SDSU athletics in the next few months.
Well, we had a really fun live stream last night. Of course, the basketball game was a big success. But, that game, I walked in there, I had a blast. I mean, of course, we didn't come out on top. Aztecs lost 32-24 in double overtime. I'm seeing you, Matt Ross. You say, hey, it was an exciting second half, Dan. You missed out. But I hear what you're saying. The end results just haven't been what any of us wish.
By the way, it wasn't that exciting, dude. I'm watching that game at home. I hear no crowd. I hear nothing. I hear no production. I hear no atmosphere. I was like, Jesus, this feels less like the production and atmosphere is even worse on TV than it is at the game.
Hey, we did have the lights flickering on and off again on the stadium when they played DMX, though. We did that again, so they got that down.
Yeah, it seems like they're adding that to the deal. Hopefully it sticks, and hopefully that's just the beginning of things they're going to add. They have that brand new modern stadium. Like, take advantage of all that modern technology, man, and do stuff to make the game more exciting and add to the ambiance of being there.
All right, guys, let's slow it down. Let's slow our roll a little bit, though, guys, because come on, we don't want this to be just a completely right off the jump pity party, even though it probably will be. But there are some real issues we need to talk about. But like I said, 32-24 in double overtime. The Aztecs lost. They now fall to 3-6. And I don't even know what their standings are in the Mountain West at this point. I mean, we've got to be next to last. I mean,
it doesn't matter.
Utah State was 3-5 along there with us. So, I mean, this was like an even matchup. Your record is what it says you are. We knew Utah State could sling it. Their offensive firepower, they are, statistically, they are one of the better offenses in college football, statistically, right? Speaking. So we knew they could do that. And for the most part of the game, we did keep them in check. I mean, it was a really low scoring game for the majority of it. But Dan, you said when we got into overtime, you didn't feel that confidence, even though there were a lot of tackles for loss. If you listen to Brady Hoke's presser after the game, they did do a lot of good things. They did correct a lot of things, but the story with this team, it just feels like that inconsistency, right? It's like, okay, you may have some bright moments or some corrections made in certain areas, but then you have the drop passes from unexpected, places. Then you have, the incompletions, or you have, the running game wasn't really all that great. This game was like a mix of everything, some good, some bad, and in the end, just didn't make those plays, those 7 to 8 plays that Coach Hoke always talks about, right? James,
I mean,
Dan,
you
go
call me.
ahead. You got it.
You call me.
You got it.
No,
Go ahead, Dan.
I mean, anybody's lying to say that they felt confident going into overtime after Maiden missed that pass to Redmond, and then he misses that pass to Redmond. I think it's the very next pass play. He throws like a curl route or something to the corner of the end zone, right on the goal line, almost is intercepted. You maybe you couldn't tell how much it was almost intercepted at the game, but should have been picked. And then he fumbles and almost loses the ball in the next run. Anybody was confident that we were going to do anything in that overtime following that, I call bullshit on. And then once, I think early on their first drive in overtime, I think we had them behind the sticks, and they just got the yardage back so fast. I'm like, we're not winning this game, and we're not stopping them.
It's just so hard to judge because when you look at the stats, I mean, Jalen Maiden 25 of 39, 265, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That one interception proved to be the nail in the coffin in overtime. Lucky Sutton, 86 yards on 11 carries. Of course, he had that big run. That was really early in the game. I want to say in the first quarter. And Keenan Christian, he had some 8 catches, which was like a running back record, right? So I mean, there's a lot of bright spots. There are, but they just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, I think
earlier
in the season, go ahead. I'm sorry, dude. Earlier in the season, I talked about it. How they show like flashes of being a really good team, and I was hoping as the season went on, those flashes would kind of become the norm, and there'd be less of the droughts they go through. But it seems like, if anything, the droughts are getting longer now. It's like kind of regressed versus they haven't shown like improvement. They like show flashes of being good, and then they just kind of go back to being the stumbling Aztecs that we get when they didn't perform well last year. So, I don't know what the solution is. Maybe it's just the makeup of the team this year, but man, it's tough to watch because you get those glimpses and you get excited. They draw you back in, and then they go back to being, giving up a 30-something yard run on 2nd and 5 in overtime, right up the middle. So yeah, it's been brutal, man.
Yeah, that right up the middle run, that one hurt. I mean, for a score in overtime after all the good that was done, and it just, overtime rules are brutal, but they are what they are, and it really reveals a lot of things. So we want to address some of the comments here in the chat, guys, because this is what this is for, right? I mean, we got 3 games left, guys. 3 games left, and we said on the title of the thing here, the live stream, to bowl or not to bowl, right? We got to win all 3 if we even want to be eligible. And even if we are eligible, is there going to be any room? I'm not so sure. But what I see here, okay, Matt Ross, the fake field goal and fake punt killed me, man. I got to agree with you.
I forgot about that.
And here's the thing, guys. Before you guys address it, I love our special teams. I love our special teams. They always come up with big plays. But those decisions, I mean, were they on the fly? I don't know. Were they, if they saw something? But to take 2 of those gambles, it was 4th and 9, right, James?
The first one, the fake field goal, that one was just inexcusable, dude. It was like you said, it was 4th and 9. If they kick that field goal, who knows? We win the game in regular time. And then just the play design, like a run up the middle with the kicker. Look, we all know Browning's an athletic kid, but to expect him to get a 4th and 9 by a sneak up the middle is just the only thing. Maybe it was it was something they saw and they game planned for it, but I just that one was the one that really the one, and he was trying to make something happen. I don't agree with it, but the fake punt, that one is a little more excusable, but the field goal there's no excuse for that, dude. That one was just unbelievably bad. That kind of changed the complexion of the game, in my opinion.
Force Ghost Fabio, the fake field goal call was the worst. Dronium Ariel. No, they don't need a bowl game. They need a change in management. Let's talk a little bit about that, because this game is just one game. There were, like we said, there were highs, there were lows, and we found ourselves on the losing end. But let's talk a little bit about the bigger picture, guys, because that's what I'm more interested in. I think that's what all Aztec Nation is more interested in, right? I mean, we're 3-6. We're at this point. We've already lost to Nevada, which was, arguably the worst statistical rated team in college football at the time. So, it can't get much lower than this. But just realize this, guys. At this point, prior to the 2010 season, the Aztecs had 6 consecutive losing campaigns from 2004 to 2009 and 11 straight winning seasons from 99 to 2009. So, anyways, SDSU's streak of 13 consecutive seasons with at least a 500 record, it's tied for the 6th longest nationally entering this year. Now, that's the success we've had up to this point. Now, this season that we are in danger of having is our first losing season, since I think Brady Hoke's first year taking over. So I bring that up to you guys for this. This is not the usual performance that you would see from a head coach coming into, what is this, his 4th year now back in the program. His first year, obviously, we've talked about this at length. It was during the COVID season. It was 4-4. We didn't get the bowl, but that was kind of a weird situation there. Then we have the 12-2 year, then last year, now this year. And we're starting to see that decline. It's not just like an overnight thing, but technically this will be our first losing season in over a decade. So, I mean, how do you guys feel now at this point? Is it any different than you guys felt a couple weeks ago?
Well, first, when you were talking about the bowl scenario, all I could think of is Jim Mora and saying playoffs, bowl game. Like, dude, bowl game, bowl game. What are we talking about? A bowl game.
I was going to go Iverson.
Nevada.
I was going to go Iverson. Bowl game. We're trying to win a game.
Oh man.
But oh man, it's a tough situation. Look, I was never the biggest Brady Hoke fan. Coming back, it was fine, I guess. He was just an easy, comfortable handoff from Rocky Long. Was he? I think he's a great coach. I probably don't. Anyways, they went to they were 12-2 with a pretty poor offense. Their offense has been poor for a pretty long time now. It's not getting better. It's getting to the point, and this isn't a time where offense is at an all-time high in college football. Like we're the school that can't figure it out when everybody else is throwing the ball all over the place. You can't stop them. And I wish that we've talked about it in the past. That I don't really care what happens to Brady Hoke from him in a personal situation. I just feel bad. I feel bad for Ryan Lindley coming back into the situation. And if there's a coaching change, he's going to be gone. Not that matters. That's the school has to do what's best for the school. But I feel worse for him coming out and trying to help last year and him getting promoted to offensive coordinator this year. And I had texted you earlier. What I'm most concerned about is I would love if J.D. Wicker is going to keep Brady Hoke. I'd love for him to say, hey, he's going to be our coach next year. We have signing day coming up. We have players are trying to recruit. So if he's going to go through this whole thing and then keep Brady Hoke for next season, I'm going to be pissed if he doesn't give him a vote of confidence.
You want that vote of confidence. You want that public announcement, that whatever it is, tweet, podcast interview. You want that press conference voting of
and you know what? And on the other side, I'd like him to say a comment, something like this regarding, hey, we're going to review this football team and everything they do after the year. And then if changes need to be made, we will make them then. A little harsher on that side, if that's the route you're thinking. but a public statement to where we don't have such fans demanding for him to be fired now, because that's not going to happen, and a public statement on the positive, so we can still recruit and try to get better and try to get transfers for the next year. We're in this weird limbo where JD in his interviews really seems to support the staff. Not that I think that he would say we're going to fire him or at the end of the year, but you know what I mean? There's certain words.
As he should. I mean, you're never going to say anything negative about the staff.
But there's things that you could say to kind of ease, like, kind of give signals, and he's not doing it. So my worst case scenario is he's not going to give a vote of confidence, and at the end of the year they're going to still keep him, and then it's going to hurt our recruiting, it's going to hurt our transfer. It's just going to be a mess. So that's where I'm kind of at in the big picture right now. Sorry to ramble on so much.
James, before you get in there and get your take, Fiend saying Hoke went 12-2 with Rockies guys. Mr. Napolitano saying, we want JD to give Hoke a vote of confidence because that means he'll be gone. You always see that in the NFL. You always see that out there. When you get that vote of confidence, that means, well, look around the corner and change is about to happen. So I don't know. I don't fully understand that type of thinking sometimes, where you want to hear that vote of confidence. Is it kind of a shell game there most times? But at this level, I don't think it would be. I think JD's come out and he has said at the end of the year they'll address it. Maybe not as forceful as you would like, but I believe I've heard that before from him. I think fans like us, they want to hear something, that reaction from the leadership. Like, okay, he's got to feel negative about it, so I want to hear it coming from the leadership. But that's just, to me, I don't think that's a realistic thing, because anytime you're the leader, you're not going to come out and badmouth your coach. You're going to be as supportive as possible. Hopefully they could turn that thing around. But the realistic side of me, I mean, come on, guys. We see it in the media. They keep saying the vocal minority is speaking against Coach Hoke. This is not the vocal minority. I mean, when you don't see butts in the seats, when you see people sending emails, tweeting, social media, their displeasure, this is not the vocal minority that want to see a change. James, did you have anything to add in there, man?
Yeah, dude. I think we are more fair than most fans when it comes to the staffs, because we appreciate that they're people. But the momentum of the program right now is not going in the right direction. And even for us, we're never usually that podcast that calls for people to get fired and stuff like that. We kind of gave Heklinski a longer leash than anybody else last year. But yeah,
and we certainly didn't get toxic. We certainly didn't get toxic with stupid name calling and all this type of, we'll leave that for whoever on Twitter, but we don't do that. But we keep it real.
Don't bring that up with me, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, dude. So like for even us to be like, man, this is not sustainable. This is not good for the program. It's not good for the health of the football program. Something's got to be done. I agree with Dan that JD needs a kind of lead. I think maybe he's waiting to find out if they're bowl eligible, because that kind of makes the decision easier whichever way it goes. And, let's be honest, it's not looking very good right now. So I think probably this Saturday, after this game Saturday, depending on what happens, we may start to see some more like forceful statements from JD, leaning whichever way he's thinking. Those might start coming out. It'll be something to watch going. I mean, that's all we have to watch right now, because this team is so hard to watch on the field. It's the off the field stuff that's the really important stuff and the stuff worth watching. So it's going to be that part of the process going forward is going to be the more interesting part, I think.
I like what Sean Nelson says in the chat. What's going on, Sean? Just wish Hoke showed any kind of fire. His post-game comments just show a sense of apathy. I couldn't agree more. And that kind of leads me to this topic, guys, because when Coach Hoke came in and he first had the turnaround, first built the turnaround here at State, you looked at him as the coach that he could put the pieces together, right? Just kind of that big picture coach, right? He's going to have Rocky Long as the defensive coordinator. You're going to have the name always escapes from my mind. Al Borges, how can I forget that? As your offensive coordinator, really, really, really good offensive mind. And then put those pieces into place, and you be that big picture guy, that PR guy, the decision maker guy, building the culture kind of guy. Well, now I'm getting here in the chat, people are saying it's the culture. There's something wrong with the actual culture. Now, we are not in the locker room. We are not in the office buildings. Neither are any of you guys here in the chat. But as a fan, as Aztec Nation, you realize it. You see certain things. You see the disconnect. When you start hearing about people complaining about fans and how we fan, if we're talking about fans and how we fan, we're having a bad season, guys. So, I agree, Sean. I want to see some fire. If Hoke is still that big picture coach, because we know he's not the strategist, he's not going to be calling offensive plays, he's not going to correct offensive sets or anything of that nature. He's putting the pieces into play. But if he's not at least motivating the fan base, hey, we're going to turn it around, giving hope, giving excitement, getting butts in seats, I have to ask, well, then where does he stand? Is he still that figure that can rally Aztec Nation in this darkest hour? Or are we dealing with a situation where we're going to continue to get, you guys need to fan better. You guys need to support, even though the tickets are astronomical, even though the product on the field is not where it should be. I'm interested to see where that comes from. Answer: culture starts with the head coach. I agree. Eddie O, this is his last payday. And we all know this. We all know this is his last payday. He said it. This is his last stop. And Rocky gave him that handoff position as a sign of respect. We'll see. So far, not so sure.
All right, here, I got a question for you, Matt. Or Matt and James. So, come on, give me what's going to happen, dude. Give me some percentages even. Will Brady Hoke be the coach next year?
James, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I see the hamster wheel running over there. I think I'm leaning towards yes, he will be the head coach next year. And I think it's strictly a financial thing for the buyout. I think that's the biggest thing. I think he was smart in asking for that instead of like a big pay raise after the 12-2 year. I think that's the biggest thing that's going to keep him in the job is the exorbitant buyout that he negotiated, or his agent negotiated, whoever. And I'm leaning towards probably he's going to be back.
I have to agree. I'm leaning that he probably will be back, but it all depends, I think, on how these last 3 games go. If we're talking 0-3, guys, and that's a real possibility. We got Colorado State this Saturday in Colorado with the altitude, with a team that, I thought they were going to be much better than they ended up being after watching them almost beat Colorado. And then we go on the road to San Jose State. You telling me San Jose State doesn't want to take it to us? And then home against Fresno. Last game of the year, Fresno is rolling, absolutely rolling right now. I still think he will be back, but if we go 0-3, I don't see how you can, because you talk about money, we talk about the buyout. They built that new stadium, and they're not filling it up, not even close. They're going to have to lower the ticket prices for that. But what do you do at that point? If you bring him back next year, you're not going to sell more season tickets. It's just not going to happen. If you bring him back next year, is the NIL situation going to get better? I know it's improving. Now. It is. Shout out to Aztec Link. If you guys aren't members, go be a member right now. I know it's tough because we're spending our money on the ticket prices and the parking and all that stuff. But if you're not a member, you should go support that. That's directly to the players, and that's really going to go a long ways. But is that really going to improve? Is that side of the culture? Is the transfer, portal? A lot of questions, but how you finish is really going to show. I mean, coming into this year, guys, this wasn't a complete rebuild. So this result, this 3-6 standing is a bit of a shocker. It really is a bit of a shocker. I don't think anybody in that locker room or that office is expected this. I don't know if that answers it. I don't know if that answers it, Dan.
How about you, Dan? What are your take?
How about your take, K5? How about your take?
Sorry, guys, that was my work alarm.
No, man, I don't. If we're gonna, there's something wrong with the administration if these next 3 games are gonna dictate whether he's there or not. Because really, the beginning of the season has ruined the whole season, whether he goes 0-3 or 3-0 these last games. Losing the Nevada game, if that's in itself is probably could be a fireable offense. So the fact that if we're as an administration waiting to see how he does against Colorado State and San Jose State and Fresno State, then we have bigger issues than we know of, and maybe we have some big money issues that we know of. But if they were to start it off, 6-3, then we have some excitement going on this season. But the fact that the season's ruined from their start. These next 3 games are really meaningless. They're pointless. We may go to a bowl if we go 3-0. What bowl? New Mexico, what bowl? I mean,
the Arizona Bowl.
The worst, it's almost like the worst thing that can happen to a program is mediocrity, to where you're just, these 500s where they're too good. They're playing too good to make any changes and not bad, not bad enough to fire. So if these next 3 games are going to determine it, then it's pretty disappointing. I think in their mind, they probably know what they're going to do. I just wish if it's they are going to keep them, then they come out and state it, and let's move forward and have to deal with it for next year.
But I mean, I want to say I don't think it's a matter of like Brady Hoke forgot how to coach. I don't think that's the case at all. So you want to give them the opportunity to turn things around, to show that. And if you listen to the kids, if you listen to the young guys, I mean, they're not down on him, at least from what you hear, right? And that's what you can go on. They're still fighting for him. They still believe in what he's teaching, what he's preaching. So it's kind of a tough call, man. I mean, you want to give him that respect.
It's not tough. They lost.
You want to give him that respect. Yeah.
They lost 6-0 to Nevada. And I mean, they're not. I mean, these kids aren't going to come out and say.
Of course.
But I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to criticize him, and then he's the coach next year. I mean, I don't know if how hard we're playing for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how if the players are ride or die. Maybe they are. Maybe they're giving 1,000%, and we just lack talent.
And that's the tough part. There's a lot of talent on this team, a lot of young talent that, let's face it, guys, I see it in the chat. Let's be real. That seniority aspect of Coach Hoke and the way he likes to run the program. There's a lot of young talent that's kind of been outplaying some of the seniority guys on the team. I mean, whether we're talking about Lucky Sutton, we're talking about, I know in the defensive backfield, I'm not gonna say no names, but yeah, absolutely. Butler, Hunter, we've seen some different guys out there on the field, make some plays, get the opportunities. So there's a lot of different things when it comes to the culture. Eddie O, I agree. I hear what you're saying. And he didn't forget how to coach. He just doesn't care as much. And, that I don't think that's like saying he doesn't exactly care. But I'm sorry, when you get to a certain point and you're comfortable, NIL, the transfer portal, those 2 things are ground shaking aspects of college football. And if you're not able to adjust very quickly, it's a whole different ball game when it comes to recruiting and all that good stuff. So,
and let's not forget, we've been asking for years. Now it's kind of not a big deal anymore but we've been asking for years to have some type of social media presence. The environment, the game.
I don't really care for my coach having a social media presence. I don't.
No, dude, I love it when you see these coaches and someone commits and nobody knows, and then the coach is on there and it says if you follow recruiting,
I will say that
they basically give a hint that someone just committed, and it gets everybody pumped. Everybody's all wondering who it is. And I mean, these players, dude, that's what they see coaches on there. There's a lot of coaches that have some good personality on there. But we have the old guy that isn't that versed in NIL, isn't going to be able to raise funds. He doesn't bring that to he's not a salesman, he's not this great personality. I think the stat that where football is now, it may have passed him by.
And I think you're hitting on something where San Diego is now as well, because when he first came to San Diego State, let's face it, he was building from the ground up in a certain sense, right? Sharing a stadium, you were the lesser tenant. The city really didn't. The city didn't really pay attention to San Diego State. He built that up. He helped build that up to a respectable level. Rocky Long really took it to a respectable level. But I hear what you're saying. Now, San Diego State, you're the only football in town. All the eyes are on you. If you're going to be good, they're going to pay attention a little bit. They're going to pay attention, but you got to be excellent to be the only football in town. It's not the same situation that it was over a decade ago when he first got here. So I hear what you're saying. It's a big step up as far as the perception and all that stuff. And yeah, social media goes a long ways. I don't think a head coach needs to be necessarily on social media, but the staff, the activity needs to be there. I want to get to some of these comments on here, guys, really quick before we bring Coach C in. He is in the house.
On the social media thing, dude.
Yeah.
We don't need Hope to be on there tweeting. Have him assign an intern to do it for him.
Right.
Yeah. We're not asking for him to be on there like tweeting or posting on Instagram, but have an intern do it, have somebody do it, have some kind of presence. There's no presence right now. And then, like you said, when he first came around, any improvement was great. The program has reached a point now where just being average isn't good enough. Like, they've raised the bar, and we as fans expect that bar to either keep going up or at least be driving towards raising that bar more. And we're actually going the opposite way now. So there's no justifying it. And it's rough, dude. It's brutal, man.
Rob's HK, if a coach cannot maximize the talent he has on hand, then the coach is flawed and is allowing the team to fail. SD Sports Fiend, I think last year with the Ariza situation and letting Heck go really broke Brady's spirit. Let's be real with that. I mean, I could see how that could be really, really, really tough on a head coach. I mean, a lot of that, a lot of that is out of his hands. Of course, Heck, that was a very difficult situation for him. That was his guy. So we need a fresh start at head coach, but does the school want that fresh start? Now is the time to build the resume for the school. 01 Mad Cat. A lot of people, this doesn't sound like a vocal minority. Matt Ross and the Haskell situation. Let's not forget about the Haskell situation, because we called that out very early. I know we hate to go back and bring that up, but we called out the way that staff at that time was handling his redshirt situation. So there were question marks from the get-go, just little red flags. And now we're kind of finding ourselves in this situation.
It's pretty great, though. Know what I get to do now is I get to go look for coaches' resumes, try to I kind of start dreaming on these coaches. Like, I'm looking for a new car or something. And
do we want to go there now, James? Do we want to go there now, or are we still a week or two away from that?
I think we got to wait. I mean, we can kind of start looking, but I think we got to wait, because
I'm not saying that we have to talk about it here, but I know on my off time, I'm researching, there's some names I like, and I want some just new energy, some new passion, and a leader, a vocal leader.
That's the biggest thing, is the program needs an energy reset, because right now, if he stays next year, where's the energy going to be going into next year? Where's the drive, like you said, to sell more season tickets? Where's the drive to get more people to donate money? I just don't see where those reservoirs are tapped out, man. So
Dronium Ariel says, Marshall Falk, bring him in, bro. Marshall Falk, Coach Falk. Oh, we'll have to address that. He says, I need him to tweet like Trump. I don't know about all that. Just for clicks. I don't know about all that. Okay, how are you guys feeling, guys? Should we bring in Coach C? Should we bring in someone who was actually a coach and knows how to, has dealt with some of those pressures? I'm sure. I think it'd be interesting to get a little different perspective. If you guys know who Coach C is, he usually cuts down some of the game film for us and looks at some of the highlights and lowlights. And I'm very fortunate because he's somebody that I trust. He taught me a lot about the game of football and being an Aztec. And hey, he was on the Aztec staff once upon a time. Once upon a time. So we're gonna bring in. It is well.
How's it going, fellas?
I got to give you your call.
Oh, Coach C.
What's up, man?
Turn your mic down just a little bit. Turn your mic down just a little bit. If you guys don't know, Coach C is a Raider fan. He is a Raider fan, so he knows something about coaching issues this year. And the Raiders just got let go of their coach in the middle of the night. And next thing you know, they destroy the Giants, and they're all smoking cigars in the locker room. Like, come on, how are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Is that mic better, by the way?
A little bit. You can turn down just a little bit, but you're good.
How about now? Here we go. Anyways, yeah, it's been quite a week
You're
for
good.
me as a Raider fan, for sure. That is for sure. Been a tough season. Aztec fan, Raider fan, and oh boy, last week was a nice shot in the arm though for the guys in silver and black. That is for sure. It was
a lot of Aztecs and Raiders fans out there. A lot of Aztecs and Raiders.
No doubt. So what is this, man? We crying on each other's shoulder. What's happening here, guys? It's the feeling and all that other stuff. And
man, we're trying to provide a little bit of conversation here because unfortunately amongst the fan base, it's been a tough year, man. The butts aren't in the seats. The butts are not in the seats. And when the toxicity starts coming out, we're San Diego State fans, man. We've been through some rough seasons. We've been through some rough decades. We've experienced a really, really high for us, in terms of football. And now we're getting a first taste of some so-so football in a long, long time. So we're spoiled. We are spoiled a little bit. But I will say this: San Diego sports fans have been through the ringer. So any media, any players, any coaches that want to say, oh, those fans, they're this, they're that, know what you're talking about before you say that. San Diego sports fans have been through the ringer. We've lost an NFL team. We've lost 2 NBA teams. The ownership in this city is absolutely pathetic. It's probably the worst ownership in all pro sports. We've had some great San Diego State figures, but to go through what we're going through now, new stadium, new situation, should have had things buttoned down on the X's and O's side. You talk about building a stadium and everything that went into that. The vote, they had to leverage, San Diego State's support in the community to get that thing built. It was a miracle that they got that thing built. So they had all the ducks in a row to get that miracle made. And now we're here, and you're telling me that what should have been in place to play in that stadium, it's not what we bargained for, man, unfortunately. So I don't know how I turn this thing around, but that's where we're at, Coach.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough because, like you said, I think perfectly. You get spoiled because you're used to a bowl run every year, except for maybe that COVID year. But that's justified. Everybody went through some weird stuff that year. You just didn't know that year if you were going to have your starting quarterback. He can be at practice all week. He tests positive. All of a sudden, you're looking at the third string, fourth string, running back to play quarterback and run a speed option scheme in there. And that was, everybody was going through that. So there were just so many unknowns here. But unfortunately, for what I'm seeing from my perspective as a coach and all, what you really hope from any coach, any coaching staff, and I think to be fair-minded fans, and I think San Diego State Aztec fans are great fans because I really believe they are fair-minded. It's a tough buy-in because there's so many good things to do in San Diego. And so you have to be a little extra for people to cancel all their plans, to take the jet ski out, to take the boat out, to hit the picnic that weekend, to go spend a beautiful Saturday afternoon to go watch Aztec football. And a football program has to understand that completely. How are we going to draw people where we're the better option? And you want to be that entertainment option. And where the Aztecs have been for a while, even during their winning seasons, is that fans were loving the wins, but they knew, man, we still have some wrinkles we got to iron out. Our offense isn't clicking like it needs to, especially if we want to take this to the next level. And what you're hoping from any coaching staff is, can you prove to the fan base, can you prove to the players and the administration that you're the guy that can make the fixes, that you're the guy, all right, we've gone a week where our offense struggled a little bit. We were averaging 13 points, but now you see the team progressing every week. You see, okay, now we're at the 21-point average. Now we're at the 24-point average. And where the frustration lies in with fans is that when you don't see that, when you don't see a progression of just, wow, you know what, we're really improving in this, especially if it's the same players week in, week out that are playing. It's not like we're having a new player every week. And fans can get frustrated. And I'll tell you what, players get frustrated with that, you know, because they know, I mean, more than anything, they want to be the ones that are striking that, you know, the scoreboard of getting points. And when things are not feeling like they're improving, a coach really has to turn into a great manager of the minds of the football team, of the psyche of the football team, because next thing you know, you have the second string and the third string players say, well, I can do better than that guy. I can help this team out. And if he feels like he's not given that chance to do that for whatever the reason, because he never sees his own flaws, of course, a coach has to understand that these are the kind of things that can start bubbling up when you're not getting over certain hurdles, you know, and not that you need to be listening to the fans. Fans are going to be fans. They're always going to have the best idea in the world, you know, and not that a head coach needs to understand how to get fans into the seats. That really isn't his job neither. Coach's job is to make sure that whatever product you put on that football field, it is a product that is ready to win, and it has been prepared to do exactly that. And when you do that better than anybody else, fans automatically come to see what's going on here at Snapdragon. All I know is that we're winning again and we're winning again. And, you know, and we were doing that, but it's just the style of it. I think fans, the educated fans, and Aztec fans are full of educated fans that understand the game. Yeah, this is great to win, but boy, we really want to take it to the next level. And we got to be able to have more of a balance on offense. And we're not throwing the ball too well, but we're beating teams up with the run game. And then also we started getting kind of average in a lot of areas. What we were never average at was the defense. The defense just was a weekly fascination to me, that it always looked like 13 guys on the field playing with their hair on fire, and they're fun to watch, you know, and you were hoping and you knew that wasn't going to last forever. Offense is going to have their moments where, okay, they're going to, you know, maybe start improving, but the defense is going to need their help once in a while too. And that's something that, as a coaching perspective, I get frustrated, because as a Aztec fan, as a former coach, you know, you just really want to start seeing a balance where, man, this side of the ball took care of business today and brought home the victory. You know, the next week, maybe that other side, then you hope eventually it turns out to all three facets of the game. Everybody is just humming, and, you know, and we're just talking not only going to a bowl, but going to a big name bowl and making a statement at that big name bowl, you know, and we can't just be satisfied as far as the program is concerned. And so I'm right there with you guys. You get a little spoiled as an Aztec fan, and you just expect, all right, what bowl game are we going to this year? And are we a top 25 again? It's been really a tough season to deal with this year for sure.
You guys got any questions for Coach, guys?
No, man. I just want to talk about, you know, that for anybody to say we're spoiled as Aztecs fans, man, that's a new money fan, bro. Because I sat through I've been a season ticket holder since 2003, I think. And I sat through a lot of 3-9, 5-7, you know. So our fan base, if anything, like you said, they've been through a lot. They're pretty educated. They know that not every season is going to be a great season, but just the overall momentum of this season, not even just this season, it started last season, and it just kind of continued. It's something has to be done. I'm not saying a change has to be made. Like, I think maybe it does, but something has to be done to reverse the momentum that's going on. That's been going back since last season. Even the 12-2 season, the offense was terrible. We had a generational punter that allowed our great defense to win games for us. And we've kind of won in spite of our offense for she's going on almost a decade now. So yeah, I think something needs to be done to change the vibe and the overall direction of this program. And that's why we pay JD Ricker the big money. He's got to figure that out.
Coach, before you jump in real quick, James, you kind of touched on something. You're talking about what one of our commenters is saying. It doesn't matter how you change the offense if your philosophy is ball control every week. He's excited about winning the time of possession. Now that brings up an interesting thought to me because we talk about offense, and even you look at Rocky Long right now. He's out there in Syracuse, and they're not doing too hot, right? What Rocky Long and what Coach Hoke subscribed to offensively was like a ball control balance, a little bit more balance with Coach Hoke, especially with Rocky Long. He wanted that ball control offense to help out his defense, that 3-3-5, keep them, off the field, run the rock, pound the rock, win that time of possession. So now that Rocky Long is out of state and Hoke is in, I think what you saw with Coach Hoke is trying to get a more balance. They tried to change the offense, obviously brought in Coach Heck these last few seasons, and now with Ryan Lindley at the helm. So there is an attempt to make that change, but his hardcore tenets of, ball control, pounding the rock, running the ball, I believe in it. I believe you do need to run the ball. I don't know about time of possession and how that goes, but it brings up the offense. And so when you look at these last several years, Coach, when you're looking at like the way that they've tried to change the offense, the steps they went through, the spread, they try to get different quarterbacks to be physical and athletic, maybe not the pass first guy, pocket passer. And now we are with Ryan Lindley, who was really a pocket passer. I mean, where do we go from here now? Because it's kind of they've tried to change, but now we're back in this spot, and the results aren't necessarily what they want.
Yeah, I mean, in the coaching world, you're always going to have these philosophies, and you're always going to have new school, old school mix in every coaching staff. And it depends on the head coach, of course, what the majority might be. If he's an older guy that's been around a while, they take care of one another, and they should. It's a tough business to be into, guys. I mean, you're hired to be fired in the coaching world. And so when a buddy's done you a favor and hired you on, and then you get a gig where you're the head guy and you find that your buddy now needs a job, you remember the favor he did for you. And as the years go by, you have a lot of guys who think the same as far as they saw what winning football was for so long. The game is still about who blocks the best and tackles the best. It's still about that. It just seems like every football game looks like, fast break football because of the tempo has changed. But if you still don't block as well as the other team and tackle as well as the other team, you're not winning a lot of football games. There's no doubt in my mind Coach Hoke wants that offense to improve, and he's open-minded enough to just, hey, whatever it takes. He knows this offense has been struggling. He's trying. It's the know-how. That's the thing. It's all of us know when a car runs good, and when it doesn't run good. Doesn't mean you know how to get underneath the hood and fix it yourself. So you try to find the right mechanic to bring the right mechanic in to get those things fixed. And by the way, you got to deal with the pieces that you have on the football field at that particular time. And in football, college football, your recruiting class doesn't come to fruition until 2 or 3 years afterwards. And so if you're recruiting a certain type of quarterback, certain type of O-line guy, is he going to be a gap scheme guy? Is he going to be a zone scheme guy? Is he more athletic, or is he more heavy hipped where he can pound and, truck a dude, whatever else, but he doesn't move well in space? Defensively, you've seen San Diego State have a philosophy. Here's what we're going to be as our identity. We're going to be a bunch of guys that can run and hit. And so your safeties and your linebackers are just guys that can flat out fly. Your DNs, the same thing, where they can become great knee benders. And so you see that just that recycling of the same type of defender we've seen. Offensively, there's been an identity crisis of, we can't name 2 quarterbacks in a row that look identical. Running backs, we probably could, but the O-line stuff, and there's just been that kind of concept. And because Coach Hoke isn't an offensive guy, it's not like he's going to bring his own blueprint. This is how I've done it in the past, and this is how I want it done. He's got to really rely on someone to sell that to him, to help him buy into that vision. And in the meantime, he needs to sell the vision to the players and the administration. Hey, I know it's looking bad right now. It ain't looking good. Here's my game plan. And even if you're on year 35 or year 5 or year half of a year and it's not looking good, you got to be able to have the ability to say, man, this isn't looking right. I can understand where, from my players to the fans to those that are in the administration offices, where they might have some doubts of what I'm doing here. And I got to get people to buy in as soon as possible of, yeah, it doesn't look good. Here's steps A through Z of how we're going to get this thing turned around. And if you're not ahead in reading people's body language, especially the players, because that's where it starts off first. You got to be able to read them, and get them to the point. And then once you give that to them, and if they're not feeling that success, you better have a game plan. Even with that, you have to have contingency here. And so right now, I heard you guys speak a little bit right before I got on these next 3 games. When's the right time to talk about, do they move on? Do they keep them or whatever else? What's going to happen? Well, Coach Hoke has got to be ahead of that. And just, he's got to be the one knocking on the door of the administration's office, the guy that's making the decision. He's got to be the one that's calling these team meetings. And, hey, this is where I need the whole team to be at right now. And you have to be able to clarify and communicate at a level that is as clear as a bell. This is how this is what we're going to accomplish for this next game, for today's practice. This is what I need to get done. Don't let them get too far-sighted. Let fans do that. Let them talk about, about who the next coach might be or whatever. That's not his job as far as Coach Hoke. His job is to make sure that this next game is the biggest game of the year for this team. And he's got to get them to believe that. And the game plan he comes with, it's got to work. And if it doesn't, it's going to still be an uphill climb for him. And if the administration, once they decide, and I think they already know, think they already know what they're going to do. Yeah. That they probably either they've seen enough to say, no, he's our guy, or they've seen enough and says, all right, and they're probably already doing their research if that's the decision they've made of what direction they need to go in, if there's another direction, and if they really feel like he's the guy still because they believe in what the vision is overall, they like what he represents and how he represents the university, then they got to make sure that they do their part to let the fan base know, here's the positives of why we want to keep them. You got to sell that too. And I think that's the biggest problem I see is like, man, what is the vision here to keep this fan base supporting? Because we like the guy. Just, man, it's not getting fixed, coach. Let's get it fixed. And I think the players feel the same way. They want to get it fixed. And, and they want to be a part of that fix for sure.
Yeah. It's all respect for sure. It's just, Dan, did you have anything? You got anything to ask or anything to input before I move on?
No, man. I agreed with what he said about they know what they're going to do. Like these 3 games are these 3 games, but if like a lot of times what they do is they send out feelers to other coaches. Like they start, talking within and they start, off the record conversations and things like that. I think they have an idea of what they're going to do. I just wish if they were going to keep them, that they would give them like a vote of confidence because like I said, signing day is 30 days from now. And everywhere you go, from it's the newspapers, websites, message boards, it's, fire Brady Hoke. I wish they could, if there was something that they could do to kind of put some water on the fire that's going on right now.
Now, really quick, in the chat, I'm getting a lot of people talking about Rocky and, kind of comparing Rocky built the culture, not Hoke. Hoke was only there for 2 years. Why didn't Rocky go back to DC as Hoke wanted him when he first came in? That's a big prideful thing, I'm sure. And once relationships are kind of altered, Rocky did what he felt was the best thing to do, and was to kind of hand off to Hoke what Hoke had kind of given him the opportunity for. So I bring that up because a lot of you guys are asking about that, and it's like what you just said, Dan. A lot of people are asking for a change, but let's not get it twisted. A lot of people were asking for Rocky to be changed towards the end of his tenure.
Look, we all love Rocky. We love what he did to keep the momentum going, keep the program going in the right direction. But let's not pretend like these problems didn't start while Rocky was the head coach. Like the offense has always been an issue.
Yeah.
Even going back to when he was the head coach. So that if Rocky came back tomorrow, it wouldn't change the state of this program, really. They'd still be, maybe they'd have a win or two more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change the momentum and the state of this program and the issues that the program has. They kind of stem from Rocky, from his style and leadership and recruiting, the way he emphasized certain things in recruiting. You know, when's the last quarterback we got that was like a big time quarterback? I know we have one now. We have a few now in the program, but there hasn't really been that emphasis on offense in recruiting until, I can't even remember the last time. So yeah, let's we love Rocky. We appreciate everything he did, but let's not act like he would be the Band-Aid to fix the issue now. I'm ready for the program to move on. It needs some new blood, some new ideas, as Coach C kind of alluded to, and somebody with a plan that knows what they're doing. So we'll see.
I bring all that up because also in the chat, you know, people are saying as far as why is Brady Hoke one of the lowest paid coaches in the conference? So, I mean, we could say all we want. He's not near the top in Mountain West as far as that pay dedication to your head coach. I get it. We just built a stadium. They're investing in a new campus expansion down there. So money, hey, it's California. I think in certain ways that works against us as well. Being a CSU and not what we thought was going to be a Pac-12 school and all the funds that were going to come in with that distinction. Being a CSU, you're in one of the richest economies in the world, but being a CSU does not put you on that scale to where you can just have funny money, and you really have to invest wisely in your staff, in your direction, in your vision. The economics of it all are going to play a big part in this, guys, and I don't know where this is going to end exactly. I hope the economics don't completely alter what I think Aztec Nation wants moving forward, but it talks.
Yeah, that's why I kind of mentioned that. And when you asked for my prognostication on what's going to happen with the coaching staff and economics, man, that's the biggest issue. It's been an issue as long as this program's been around. As you said, it's a CSU. They're not unlimited funds they're rolling with. So I think that plays a big part. And, you know, I hope I'm wrong, because you didn't ask for our personal opinion on what we want to happen. But I kind of feel like there needs to be a change just due to all the things we've talked about already. But I don't know if the program can afford that right now. So that's why I lean towards I think he's coming back next year.
Coach, got anything more to add in here, man? I know we're talking from a different perspective than what you bring. I appreciate your perspective. I think it kind of brings us a little gravity to the situation and understanding what coach and the staff are where their mindset is at, right, and where it needs to be in getting this team to finish the season well. But you know, I want to thank you for your time, man, and you know, we're going to continue the conversation in just a few minutes, but just want to thank you for joining us. We'll have to do some more things in the near future, hopefully.
No doubt, guys. It was a pleasure for sure. And hey, no matter what, win or lose, man, we're Aztecs through and through. And you know, my hopes is Coach Hoke can provide a miracle, get this thing turned around. It'd be great because he was a part of this turnaround years ago. And if it happens, it happens. And you know, we're going to support him 100% for sure. And if it doesn't happen, it feels like there needs to be a new direction. And you know, we just hope that it's a true Aztec that ends up walking those sidelines, that loves the campus, that loves the kids, that loves what San Diego State is all about. And you know, I saw one of the comments about Marshall Falk, and it's because Marshall Falk is he's our icon, obviously. But anybody that just loves the Aztecs and you know could get this program where we want it to get to, going down a lot of points, playing great defense or whatever, just playing exciting football. I can't wait to see it again. It's been a lot of fun these last few years and all that. This has been a tough year for sure. And guys, no doubt for coaches, it's hard. Trust me, as a fan, when you lose, it's one thing. When a coaching staff and the players, you know, it's a dark cloud for that week after a loss. You lose 2 in a row. Good Lord, you just want to crawl under a rock. When you lost 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, I mean, it's like zombie land. It's real tough, and you're just looking for any answers, for crying out loud, because anything outside that building is not going to be too positive. There ain't going to be billboards everywhere about celebrating what's going on, and you got to fight that. And so it is tough for them right now. So be nothing better than getting a win against those Rams this weekend, and just get out of that shadow a little bit and feel like the sunshine is kind of hit back on, where it needs to hit back on. So I'm rooting for them. You guys keep it up. Great job by all you guys, and always love your input. That's for sure.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
Guys, well, I think I'm definitely froze. You guys can hear me though, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You've been froze for a while.
Yeah, I know. You give an opportunity for all you guys to enjoy my beautiful podcasting face.
Yeah, this is when we get to mock him about his internet connection.
Yeah.
That's mine usually.
He's always giving us crap about our internet.
well, Coach C, if you're not out, appreciate you guys. Guys, we'll continue the conversation a little bit though, because it's important, moving forward. When it comes to money, when it comes to the buyout, all that good stuff, like we're all harping on the coaching issue as if it's for sure gonna happen, and we don't know that. But let's see, am I back?
It changed. We can hear you.
Let's just play around. Let's just have a little fun. I'll be the main guy here that's frozen, and just be you guys can stare at me for a little bit, but
we're gonna stare at your profile.
Oh, guys. Okay. Well, anyways, we're gonna carry on. We're coming towards the end of the stream. Anyways, it's been a good hour. I don't know if we're gonna do any watch parties this weekend, guys. Saturday is the game.
Dude, I'm gonna be out of town, man. So I won't be there if you have one. But I mean, look, we all enjoy getting together and watching the games together with the other fans and stuff. But dude, it's a big ask right now to ask people to come out and support a watch party. So I would be okay if you said no watch party this weekend, but it's your call, man. You're the guy in charge, man. So
no, I won't have an official watch party or anything like that. But I will say, if anybody wants to watch the game, definitely I might post up somewhere and watch that, because I'm just a glutton for punishment. But hey, everybody, I hope everybody has enjoyed their time here. We're just diehard Aztecs. Okay, I still see all the comments coming in. Why can't we pick up? I think if Hope come back next year, SDSU is going to lose a lot of season ticket holders. Oh man,
that's a reasonable take, dude. Like I don't see how, if he comes back next year, I don't know. That's going to be a tough sell for the guys in the ticket office trying to sell people renewals. I know I'm probably going to drop 2 of my 4 season tickets next year, just because I can't even give away tickets this year, dude. It's been rough. Yeah. I think when do you guys feel comfortable talking about potential candidates? I have some
people. I have some people I'd love to talk about.
But we'll see. You never wish defeat. But
no, absolutely not. I think we all kind of are on the same boat where we kind of want to change, but I'm never going to root for them to lose. I still want them to win Saturday, and I'm still going to root for them to win Saturday. And hopefully they win these last 3 and go to a bowl game. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about the possibility.
Yeah, it wasn't like, this last loss hurt just as much as the first one did. Like it still sucks. I still can't go on like Twitter or social media for the whole weekend because I totally detach from all Aztec stuff. It's just, it sucks when they lose, and I don't want them to lose this weekend either, but That's why I
really,
don't think these 3 games should dictate it, you know? Like
it's really rough for me, man, because I'm a college football junkie. Normally I'm watching, like, I'd be watching the game right now, the action game. But when they lose, man, I want nothing to do with college football. So it makes it hard for me to watch other games. I normally love watching other games.
I'm back. Okay, now y'all can stare at my lovely face. Yeah. Guys, I don't know where we go from here, but we're going to Fort Collins. I wish we were going to Fort Collins physically, but that's not the case. Oh, don't you say that, D. Brafferty 100. That may be the case right now, but it's not the case forever. Either way, I root for both football and basketball. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up. These guys got things they got to get to. Appreciate both of you taking the time and, man, carving out. Now I think James is frozen on us now. Beautiful. On behalf of K5 James, Dirtball Dan, I'm Mateo San Diego. We appreciate all you guys in the chat making this thing fun for us, making it entertaining, and trying to gather together the fan base, Aztec Nation, ideas, inspiration. We want to see a winner, but aside from on the field, we want to see great things happen off the field. The culture, the fan base, make things, as best as they can be. Dan, go get yourself some dessert, man. I'm gonna go get myself some dinner.
All right, I'm so hungry. Let's go.
All right, everybody have a great night. Go Aztecs.
Later.
Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn.